Well, hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, we're doing some canvas engraving with the Wainlux L6 laser engraver. Well, lately I've been playing around with some different ideas, and one of them has been engraving images onto stretched canvas. Now for this I'm just using some dollar store canvases, but there is some preparation work that needs to be done. So let's head over to the bench and I'll show you what you need for this. So I've just gone to the local dollar store and picked up a couple of these stretched canvases here. And these are the 5x7 size. I think they're something like $1.50 for the pair of them. So they are extremely cheap. But you cannot just engrave directly on the canvas. So the first thing that you're going to need is some spray paint. In my case, I'm going to use 3 different colors, but we're going to start off with a nice even coat of white on both of the canvases. And once that white coat is dry, we're going to add a coat of gloss red on top of the gloss white, and then we will add the final coat of black, which is gloss black, over top of everything. So add your 3 colors of paint. Or if you want to add more, you can add more. You want to add less and just do black and white, you can do that too. But get your paint added and then let it completely cure. And when we're done, we have a canvas that looks like this. At this point in time now, we need to do a test burn, guys. So we're going to focus the laser first. We'll slide it along the gantry here. We will loosen off the thumb screw and raise it up so that we can get over top of our canvas, and we will lower our focusing arm. Once you have the arm in place, lower it down until it touches your material, and then tighten your thumb screw. That's it. Your laser is now focused, and you can tuck that little focusing arm back up onto your shield. So we have our canvas in place. We need to do a test burn, and what the test burn does is it will engrave at different powers along this canvas to give you an idea of what settings you need in order to get a good burn. And while it may seem like a waste of a good canvas, it doesn't matter, because for starters, the canvases are cheap and it will go a long way to providing you with a much better project. So I have the file here on LightBurn. I made this one myself. If you guys are interested in how to make one of these test burn files, I can do a tutorial video on that. Just say the word down below. But for now, we're going to take this test burn. We're going to frame it on our canvas here. Once we're happy with the framing, we're going to burn our test burn. Guys, I just want to step in here real quick and give a warning that the following segments of the show do include footage of the laser in action, which does have flashing lights of the laser. So if you are someone who is sensitive to that sort of thing, by all means do what you need to do to protect yourself. Fast forward through that segment, get through it, what have you, but be safe and do what you need to do to keep yourself that way. And I'm actually going to stop it there because I can tell right off the bat that this may be a little too strong. So I'm going to adjust my settings here and we will carry on from there. Okay, well that turned out great. So let's head over to the bench and I'll show you what we're looking at. Okay, first off, with any engraving, there's always going to be soot that's left in your material here that you've burned or engraved. So you can get an old toothbrush and just clean it up, and you can see how that's smearing soot there, or maybe you can't, I don't know. But if you clean it up with a toothbrush, you'll get a better idea of what it is that we're looking at here. Okay, and now we can see what a great test that was. Everything here has been burned at 100 millimeters per second. That's the speed of the laser's travel along the X and Y axis. And these numbers here represent the percentage of power. So I've burned everything from 5 to 34%. These white lines here, that's where it started to burn, and then I shut it off because I wasn't happy with what was happening. But the rest of it, you can see the variation in color from black here at the 5% right up to this light pink. I think I'd like to be able to go a little lighter than that, so I might even crank that up just a little higher. But the first thing that we want to do is we need to choose our image, and then using this, we will choose the power of our laser. We'll get into this in just a bit. But first off, let's choose our image, and I'll show you how to edit it in LightBurn. Well, the first thing that you want to do is choose your image, and this is the image that I've chosen. So for starters, what we'll do is we'll open up LightBurn, and the first thing that you want to do is you want to draw a square, and we will adjust this square to be the same size as our canvas. So at the moment it's 178 by 107. We will unlock its relation to each other so that you can adjust each side individually, and we will change our dimensions to 180 millimeters wide and 125 millimeters tall. Now this is the size of our canvas, and once we get that established, we will come down here and we will turn this into a tool by clicking on one of these two items. So T1 will make this a tool. And once you get that done, you can import your image, and that will be this icon right here. So we can just click on that, import our image from our desktop, there it is, and open, and there is our image, but it's much too large. So we know that the height of our canvas is 125. We will lock the ratio of this photo, and we will make the height equal to our canvas's height at 125 millimeters. So at this point now, we can move this up to our box that we made, our tool that we've made it, and it will snap into place on the 125, just like that. And what we can do at this point is highlight everything. And if we go under the Tools tab, you can see at the bottom here, Apply Mask to Image. And if we do that, that orange layer or that square that we made into a tool, this will now crop it to be the same size as our canvas. And then if we right click on our image, you'll see at the bottom here, Flatten Image Mask. And then if we do that, we now have our image sized exactly like our canvas. But what we need to do at this point is to make it able to be burned by the laser. If we burn it like this, it's really not going to do much. It's going to look like a terrible negative image. If we right click on the image, we can adjust the image here. So at this point, in order to burn it properly for the paint that we've laid, we need to turn it into a negative image. And this here is what it will actually burn. From here, you can adjust the contrast as you wish. You can play around with it. And once you're happy with the way your image looks, you can invert it here and see what it's going to burn like. But once you're happy with that, you can just click OK. The last thing you need to do here, now that you have that image set, is you need to go into your cut layers. There is only one here. And if you double click on the image of the cut layers here, you will see your parameters. You want it to be in grayscale. If it is anything other than grayscale, whether it be Threshold, Atkinson, Stuckey, Jarvis, any of these, it will not give you the option to put in your parameters of your laser power. It will only give you your maximum power. So if you go into grayscale, we can now see that it gives us the option for both the speed per millimeter, millimeters per second rather. It gives us our maximum power and our minimum power. Once you get all of that done and you're happy with it, we have our DPI, that's your dots per inch, so you can modify that if you want. And as long as you're happy, the number of passes and all your settings, you can click OK. If you want to know what it's going to look like, right up here at the top, this screen, you can click here and it will show you what your burn will look like. You can even go through if you want and see bit by bit exactly how it's going to burn it as you drag the slider across, whatever you wish. But either way, it's now time to burn this image. Well, you never know exactly how these are going to turn out. So I've gone through and using our power scale here on our canvas test burn, I have gone through and chosen the values that I want. I've given a minimum power of 6% on the laser and a maximum power of 34%. So we're going to frame this out and let it burn, and we're going to see how it turns out in the end. Hopefully we end up with a wicked looking picture, but just let's do this and see what happens. Okay, and at 2 hours and 6 minutes, the engraving is done. So I'm going to take this over to the bench and use a stiff brush. We're going to clean the soot off of this, and I'll show you what we ended up with. Oh my. Look at that. Guys, that is spectacular. Look at the detail that the smaller beam of the 10 watt really provides through the scales of this dragon. That is absolutely amazing. You know what? I've burned several canvases while playing around with lasers, but I have to say this is one of the coolest and one of the most detailed burns I think I have done to date. This is incredible. I love it. Now, there are plenty of laser engraving videos out there on the internet, some with different styles of lasers, some with different brands. But what you don't see a lot of is anything about the maintenance of the unit. So after finishing our canvas burn here, and with last week's show doing the test burning and the cutting and that sort of thing, the laser creates soot. That soot gets inside the laser area where the nozzle is and the head and that sort of thing. And while Air Assist does help with that, it's very important to keep this area clean. So what I'm going to show you today as a little kind of bonus end of this video is I want to show you how to clean the lenses on the L6 laser. Now, the lenses in these lasers are glass, and if you watch the show on the K6, you'll know that the laser does not by itself engrave glass. It just passes right through it unless there's something to stop it. And if that lens is dirty or if it's very dusty, that provides something like a carrier agent for that laser beam to stop and etch something. And that is where the problem starts, because it will etch your lens. So the very first thing that you want to do is you want to remove your Air Assist hose, and it just pulls off like that. From there, you can loosen your thumb screw and lift your laser unit out of the gantry bracket. And then from there, very carefully, because these plugs can be delicate. Just unplug your cable, and now we can take our laser over to the bench. Now you don't require any special tools. Wainlux has provided you with everything you need, but you will need to remove this nozzle here. This is not your lens. This is nothing more than a cover. So there are two Phillips head screws right here. They provide you with the screwdriver, and the first thing you want to do is remove those two Phillips head screws. And that will remove this nozzle. So we'll put that aside for now, and this is what you're looking at. Now there are actually two lenses here. This top one, which is the one we want to clean, this is a protective dust cover lens. And you can remove this lens just by unscrewing it. Once you remove this protective lens, the second lens inside is the fixed focusing lens. But this is the one here that can get etched, which is your protective lens. So what you're going to need is a little bit of rubbing alcohol and some cotton swabs. So with just a little bit of rubbing alcohol on the end of a cotton swab, you can give this lens a little bit of a gentle wiping. Now, generally it's not necessary to clean the inside of it, so I'm not going to bother right now. Because it's been so infrequently used, but in general you can clean both sides. And then with the dry side of the cotton swab, just gently give it a wipe to soak up any of the extra alcohol, and then let the rest evaporate, and that is your lens clean. But while you're at it, don't forget about your nozzle. You're going to want to give that a clean too, because this is where all of the kind of gunk and the soot ends up collecting. So we'll just show you that here. We'll get inside and clean this nozzle out as best we can. Just like this. And we can give the outside a cleaning as well. And as well, the hole where the laser comes out. Now look at that. It didn't look dirty, did it? But there's all kinds of soot there, and this soot can be problematic. So a regular lens cleaning schedule is going to go a long way to having your laser live a long and happy life, and to keep its performance up. Because if this protective lens gets etched, you're going to have some problems. It's going to start losing power. So just be careful of keeping that clean. You can do the same thing with your protective shield. You can use a little bit of alcohol on a swab, clean that shield up, keep your laser clean, and you'll keep it happy. And there you have it. Canvas engraving with the Wainlux L6 10-watt laser engraver. Guys, this project opens an entire world of limitless possibilities. Just this one alone, with the 3 layers of the paint, the white, then the red, then the black, was able to give me all different shades in between. We've got red, blacks, pinks, whites. We've got everything involved in there. And the reason that is possible is through the LightBurn software, burning this in grayscale and then setting the minimum laser and then the maximum by using your test pattern to get those values, you are able to get all gradients in between those levels. And with that smaller laser, that smaller size beam of the Wainlux L6, it really gives that extra detail, and oh my goodness, like, it looks amazing. Now, it was a 2-hour and 6-minute burn, but that has nothing to do with the 10 watts. That has to do with the speed or the travel of your laser on the X and Y axis. When we set it for our test at 100 millimeters per second, this is how fast it goes. That's it. So it's not like if you did this on a larger engraver, like say a 20 watt, it wouldn't go any faster. It goes by the set speed of what you set the travel of your laser. And in this case, I went with 100 millimeters per second because that was my test burn. And the results are amazing. It was worth the 2-hour and 6-minute wait. Now, something I will point out, please make sure you have plenty of ventilation. For my liking on this burn, I don't feel I had enough. I shouldn't be able to smell that paint being etched. I shouldn't be able to, almost taste it. So there's no way that I had enough ventilation here, even with the window cracked and the door cracked. The problem is the weather is cold and it's letting all the cold air into the shop. So I eased back on opening that door and window, but by doing that, I did not have enough ventilation. So now it's a little chilly in here because I had to open everything wide to, vent it all out. So if you're going to do this, please be sure that you have proper ventilation. It's very important. For my next ones, I will be putting it in a portable enclosure that has a vent fan. I will be venting it right out the window and taking care of all of that and not having anything to worry about after that. Either way, guys, this is a wonderful project. It is absolutely incredible. The sky's the limit. All you need is an image from the internet, your imagination, and a few layers of different colored paints. It's a piece of work. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in this week. Again, I want to thank Wainlux for sending me out this L6 laser. This thing has just been performing like there's no tomorrow. It is one heck of a capable unit. I've really been enjoying using it. Guys, if you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. You click the bell and then you're not going to miss the notifications of future episodes of the show. Like I said, guys, if you are interested in seeing a tutorial on how to make your own test grid pattern, I'd be more than happy to make a LightBurn tutorial for you to show you how to do that on your computer. Either way, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're going to try this for yourself if you've got yourself a laser engraver. And more importantly, I hope you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another Alternative Tuesdays.